you're assuming yourself to be located at some level, at some state, as some form, as some level of the body, as some level of the subtle body, maybe causal body, the mind, whatever you want to call that. And so at a certain level, you are identified with a particular position or filter. If you can notice that, it's like the background assumption, like, oh, I'm right here, I'm sitting right here, and I have these things to do today. That can be in the back of your mind. That can be a subconscious feeling of identification. Take a deep breath. Notice the subtle tension that's always available to you in the background because of identification, because of associating that pure space of consciousness that cannot be described in its subtlest levels, which transcends space and time and form and objects and people, and realize that that consciousness exists almost as if on its own, free of form. Again, you can't undo reality, so it doesn't matter what you visualize or imagine here, as long as it's effective, and this is effective. So you separate that true self out from every other perception, meaning you recognize it as it is, and you allow everything that you're associated with to be not that, not that, not that. Let it drop out of the space, or you drop into a deeper space, however you want to sort of feel into this visually. And every time you go subtler, it's even beyond this. But I still have this edginess, this sensation over here of location or this or that. And you drop that too. Every time you drop something, that original essence, that original space-like, but beyond space, quality of knowingness, pure knowingness, awareness, subtle, nuanced, delicate, pristine awareness, blue sky-like awareness, begins to know itself more directly, more purely, without filters, less and less filters. And so your experience becomes super subtle. And that's purification, subtlification, making yourself more subtle again. Okay, so what happens as you drop deeper and deeper and deeper, at some point there is this sense of oneness. As in, it's almost like you're hitting sort of a threshold, like a wall, like a basin, like the edge of the bathtub, or like the ground of the lake. It's like you become the whole container, the whole cauldron, the whole holding space for the entire energy of existence. Doesn't necessarily mean you're experiencing other planets and all points of view and all that stuff. That's just imagination. It just means that experientially, intuitively, directly, you are feeling, you're contacting the essential state of illusion, the essential state of being, where it's just awareness, beingness, being aware. And it's like this very subtle space-like radiant essence that you somehow know at that level of subtlety, when it's been purified from this and that and this and that and this and that perception and this and that belief and this and that thought and this and that distortion, and you just enter into this super, super subtle, unconventional, beyond conventional realities, pure space of being, of God, really. This is where you feel like, I'm actually resonating, I'm vibing with God right now. And as I deepen it, you begin to realize, wait a second, I am inseparable. I am that God. So again, separate your way into unity. So, but then even this oneness can be separated from. So this oneness, beingness, awareness, if you manage to separate yourself from that entirety, that landscape, then what could possibly be left? Because you see, you're still looking at awareness, pure awareness, even though it feels like it is just awareness itself. You're still looking at it. You're looking at God. You're looking at the essential substratum, the essential radiance which makes up everything that can possibly ever appear or appear to be. The entire beingness, which is aware, which is pure space-like knowingness. Yes, it's non-separate. It's non-dual awareness. Before that, prior to that, you are still looking at that. So you're not even the universe. So separate yourself from the entire universe of pure consciousness. And so this is the final stage of subtlety, where we actually disengage from the root cause of all experience, of all delusion, of all separation. So we separate from the root cause of all separation, which ends up in this perfected oneness, which is not a oneness like God's oneness, it's the one. Before oneness, before, whoa, I'm everything. You're not nothing, but the reality cannot be described as nothing, but you're not everything. What you are is not everything, or beyond everythingness. Right? So the subtler we become, boom, 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 give things away, surrender, surrender, surrender. Oh, still feeling a perception, still feeling that sensation, give it away. Whoa. And we start to transcend space and time and location. It's this intuitive, instinctive knowingness. You could call it a feeling, but it's not really a feeling. It's a knowingness, it's a direct knowingness. It's subtle, it's unconventional. You can't talk to this with people. You can't talk about this to people. You know, this is not a morning breakfast sandwich conversation. You can't relate it to, and it's got nothing to do with conventional reality already, not even at the absolute level. Before the absolute level, what you are has no relationship. It cannot be bridged to conventional reality, to imagination, because conventional reality is nothing but imagination and agreements and thoughts and concepts. How could any of that ever affect or touch what you are, which is this pure, primordially, already pure space of awareness? And beyond that is the absolute infinite reality. Awareness is its first manifestation, its first expression, its first breath. So it's the closest that can still be described. Isness, beingness, awareness, consciousness, the essence, the substratum, the root, the empty ground of all beingness. It's the subtlest that can still be hinted at, and the descriptions don't do it justice. Okay, God awareness, it's that subtlety of you. It's you awareness. That subtlety of awareness of you, which is already primordially pure, but you have to still purify it by separating from all the delusions. And then you see that it was already pure. Then you realize, like, it's not a new thing. It's always been the case. It's always been the state of things. The absolute cannot be described. It's so it's beyond subtle. It's like not subtle. It's subtle, but it's not subtle. It's like beyond subtle. It's freer than space itself. Much freer. By a lot. You know, actually the best word for you, for what you absolutely are, the best word is not a term that points to a thing or a state. The best word is freedom. What does freedom look like? Can you find freedom? Can you, like, put it in your pocket? Can you give it to somebody else? True freedom, can it be taken away? Can anything touch it? Can it be grasped? Can it be scratched? Can it be dented? Can it be harmed? Can you put a flaw in freedom? If so, it becomes non-freedom. It becomes a distortion. It becomes an illusion. But ultimate freedom itself, cannot be reduced to a thing. And it's also a matching term because really the fragrance that is released experientially when you go beyond experiences is that of utter freedom, unspeakable freedom. The subtlest of the subtlest, the subtler you go, the freer you are from conventional reality. In other words, delusion, non-existent ideas. The freer you are, the subtler you are, the subtler you know yourself. The more refined, the finer, the more delicate, the more beyond, the more space-like, the more not this, not this, not this, not this, not this. The subtler you know, you intuit, you know, you're convinced of yourself, the freer you are from non-existence. Because really, my friends, conventional reality is non-existent, but it's believed to exist. We believe typically conventional mindset is that we believe that what does not exist has existence, and therefore we've obscured the real reality, and therefore freedom. Same thing. Reality is freedom. Freedom itself is what is real. Freedom is reality. Suffering is illusion, is non-existence.